A very good afternoon to one and all present here. With a warm heart, I welcome all of you on behalf of Asian Education Group to the 8th chapter of Leadership and Entrepreneurship Aspiration Series. As you all know, this is an attempt towards the development of students by giving them an optimum exposure to the industry and its needs with the hope that all of you become a valuable asset in future. With the same aspiration of exposing you to the best, we have with us our guest for today, Ms. Poonam Vijay Thakkar, an industry expert marketing, digital marketing, content and analytics, head analytics and digital communications L&D, leading large financial services, diversified firm mentor of Change Niti Ayog. Some of her key prior assignments include roles like Head Marketing and Digital Communications, Aditya Birla Money My Universe, digital arm of ABCL. Chief Marketing Officer, Aditya Birla Money Limited, Group Board Advisor, SMC Group, New Delhi, Country Head Marketing and Brand, Sanlam, Investments and Advisors, South Africa, Senior Vice President, Brand and Corporate Communications, Angel Broking. Ms. Thakkar holds close to 2 decades of rich experience. She's an award-winning 360-degree Saran marketing, customer, and digital leadership champion. Being a boundary-less, high self-driven professional with a sharp entrepreneurial mindset, she has been leading from the front the new age digital transformation technologies leading to building a productivity led data intelligent organization and social media strategies championing content brilliance in her career. She has been a recipient of various awards such as India's Top 100 Women Leaders in Finance, Association of International Wealth Management in India 2019, Top 100 Smartest Digital Marketing Leaders CMO Asia Awards 2018, 100 Top Training and Development Minds in India, World HRD Congress 2018, and many more. She is an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad, Google Certified AdWords Specialist, BBA, MBA with dual specialization in marketing and HR, a certified Six Sigma Green Belt, and most currently an internationally certified life wellness coach. We welcome you, ma'am. If I keep reading her profile and share her rich experience with all of you, you will surely need an evening to invest. So without taking any further time, I would like to pass on the session to you, ma'am. Please share your enriching experiences and knowledge with our students.
Thank you so much, Karima, and welcome everyone. Welcome Asianites. Welcome to. I have been told that I will be e-meeting, and Karima, I really hate e-meeting because I can see your expressions, I can see your smile, I can see your enthusiasm while you're explaining, but I will not be able to see the 374 students. And if you see in the entire span of 19 years, I have never done a webinar in my life. So, the power of adaptation, that is what COVID has done. So I'm also gearing up to be able to connect with students through this platform. Guys, help me while I present to you, because your expressions and your questions in the end will give me the insight on how much I was able to deliver in terms of connecting with you with your requirement as students. So I've been told that we have students who are just starting their MBA. So hi everyone, welcome to the world of management studies. I have been told that we also have students who have completed their MBA and they're about to get on to the corporate world. So we have something for you also. And I've been also told that we have law students participating. So great, welcome everyone. I will just share my just give me a heads up if the screen is clear to everyone.
Yes, it is clear.
Great. So the art of scaling new heights. Thank you, Ravi, and thank you, Himanshu, for all the setup assistance. I think Ravi was he was the one to come up with this topic, and he said difficult times are always a part of life. Life is never linear. But how do you scale up? And only failures can teach you something important. Failures can give you the time to reflect. Failures can also tell you that how do you come out as a leader? Leadership qualities will only be reflective in difficult times. And in my career also, I've seen successful time, everything comes together. It's very organic in successful time. When the time is not right, and I'm talking about the 2008 meltdown, right? Very similar situation, but in a limited space and area it happened. This is more global. Having said that, did we not recover? And if I were to at this slide only tell you though some kind of number, the world has seen more than 14 global recessions in the last 140, 150 years. But we came back with excellent strategies. We came back with excellent product strategies. We came back with more innovative products to be given back to the world. So I think in difficult situations is when the real test of leadership from business's point of view and from leaders' point of view, together it happens. So with this note, let's start. Guys, you all would be missing traveling. Now I don't have any expression coming, but I'm sure you're smiling with me. I am missing it like anything because usually when it is kids' holiday and it is May and June, everybody wants to travel. So I'm going to promise you a visual treat, and I would want to thank my team members, DJ, Shweta, and Swastika, who have helped me in putting this great piece of presentation for you all. Let's start. The art of scaling new heights. For me, it is Tayari Jeet Ki. And for Jeet, you need a Tayari. Your future begins with your next thought. Your future is all about the decisions that you want to take today, the decisions that you want to make for your future today, and how do you evaluate, self-evaluate yourself. If not us, who? If not now, when? May your dreams be larger than mountains, and may you have the courage to scale the summits. It's a beautiful quote by Harley King. I want you all to focus on the word courage because we will decode the word courage for everyone attending this webinar today. Well, starting a career is a journey. Of course, an uphill task. There is no career, there is no new thing, there is no aspirational thing that you will get easy. And when you are uphilling, you know that you need to have the preparation to be able to uphill. There is no uphill that can be done without preparation. So hence the Tayari Jeet Ki. But the question here is, building your career is a voyage. You can never just pass out from a college and think that my career is going to be linear, and if it is the best college, everything that I'm going to get is going to be best. No, you will have ups and downs, but it is your college's education that will define you from the rest. How your college has prepared you to deal with difficult times and come out of it is the greatest sense, is the greatest, you can say, the biggest leadership quality that you can exhibit. So careers are always a voyage. And if you know, voyage is not just, voyage means what? You're on the sea, you're in the space. In this case, the heart says, ये करियर नहीं आसान, इतना तो समझ लीजिए, एक कंपटीशन का दरिया है और डूब के ही जाना है. तो जब तक आप डूबेंगे नहीं, आप स्विमिंग सीखेंगे कैसे? आप तैरेंगे कैसे? आप आगे बढ़ेंगे कैसे? लेकिन डूबने के बाद ऊपर कैसे जाना है, that is जीत की तैयारी. That is what the heart said. Now let's look at what the mind says. हम भी दरिया हैं, हमें अपना हुनर मालूम है, जिस तरफ भी चल पड़ेंगे रास्ता हो जाएगा. Now the important word here is hunar. Any time in life, what you need is skill. Your skill set is your product. Your skill set, which is unique to you, is your hunar. And that is what you need to move ahead in life. Here is the flow of my presentation, guys. We'll talk a little bit about mindset. We'll talk about the strategy for career building that we need. We'll talk about the courage. As I said in that quote, courage is the most important word. We'll also talk about making of a digital winner, commandants, and the toolkit. So let's move ahead. When you hit the rock bottom, well, you can only go up. There's no other way. So if the whole world has hit the rock bottom with the COVID situation, we are only going to go up. So give yourself a smile for it. Let's little bit decode failures right now. I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Great. So that means failure is the only step to move ahead. There is no innovation and creativity without failure, period. In marketing also, even what you see out on hoardings and ad films that come out, do you know how many kind of iterations and how many times the iterations we fail in building multiple times? What kind of customer language needs to go out that can give the result to the entire spectrum of building that campaign? So it's never like there is an expert who will come, or if in that case I am the leader of the team, I would probably have the best idea on the earth. I'll go to my teams, put them in a conference, and this is the idea, go ahead, this will work. No, 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 no. We fail, we deliver, we fail, we deliver, we fail, we deliver. In corporate world, when you are actually in action, it's all about understanding your failure, tweaking the failure, understanding, putting research on it, and coming out as a winner. But it's a process. Let's look at some famous failures. Michael Jordan, you all know, after being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in the room and cried. And who's he? Who do we know as Michael Jordan? The Beatles they were rejected multiple times. The Eminem, a high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. But after that, what happened? That was the tipping point. That was the lowest point in his life, but he recovered. Steve Jobs, at 30, we all know his story. What happened? Walt Disney is important to see. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Imagine when you get into Walt Disney, what happens? It's all about imagination and nothing real. Oprah Winfrey was told that you can never be an anchor. And Albert Einstein, he wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old. And his teacher said he would never amount to much. And we are talking about Albert Einstein. So if you have never failed, you have never tried anything new. The big question is, what is failure? We understood their failures, but now in the context of us, what is failure? Let me decode that for you. Here is the big answer. Failure is not real. Failure is just a momentary mindset. This is one of my favorite images. I've been loving it. Life doesn't get easier, guys. You just get stronger. But you need to know what is the strategy that will make you stronger to be able to perform in the world that is emerged in front of you. Look at this. If you don't ask, this is your possibility level. But if you do ask, that could be your possibility level. I would want to spend 1 minute on this slide. This is the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Failure is an opportunity to grow. That's what a growth mindset says. I can learn to do anything I want. Challenges help me to grow. My effort and attitude determine my abilities. Feedback is constructive. Until unless somebody will not come here and tell you that, you know what, this is not right. You should not do this. Or maybe you could have done it this way. That is a learning, because in your mind, you're consumed with your thoughts and ideologies that are perfect. And everybody, mind you, whenever we are looking at ourselves, most of the people in the mirror, we know that we are perfect. That's a thought, but that has to come with an overlayer of, if I get some feedback, I'm going to be a little more perfect, because there's no definition of being perfect, right? I am inspired by the success of others. I like to try new things. The last one is very important. I am sitting on the 20th year in my career right now. And if I were in 2013, and just a little glimpse on my career and history, if 2013, I got into digital in 2010, but not really very big in business, but we started thinking digital because digital is going to be a part of business and not just personal. 2013, what happened, it became a part of my profile. It became a part of for what I was paid as a salary. It became a part of my work. and not just Orkuts of the world and Facebooks of the world for, you know, happy family digital gatherings. That was a time, and what Garima also mentioned, I started giving my, and I first enrolled for my Google keyword uh, um, the registration and went for the exam and did not clear it in the first go. 2000, my first attempt for Google Keywords was 2013, did not clear. It's an online exam now, obviously. 2014 went again for it. And when I did not clear, I understood what I was not doing right. Prepared, tayari jeet ki. Prepared in a different way. And let me give you an example. Why I failed first time, the reason was by the time I was giving my exam, because you have to choose your date, right? The algos were changing. Google was that agile, you know, by the time you understood Google, they changed their algorithms, they changed their statistics, they changed their meta tag keyword planner will say, okay, your keyword number has to be 127, 128. By the time I'm appearing for the exam, it is no more 127, 128. It would be something else. So it was all about understanding how robust you have to be in the digital world. I completely changed my mindset that look, I have to delete 14 years of experience and work as somebody who is joining as a fresh college pass out. Had I not done that, probably I would not be doing with confidence what I am doing today. Let's look at the fixed mindset now. A fixed mindset is I don't want to even read. A fixed mindset is I am best. I don't want to learn. The world is going to be good to me. The world is good and is going to be good to me. And I stick to what I know. Guys, we don't want to be on this side. We always want to be on the growth mindset side where we are willing to learn. We are willing to say that I need mentorship. I am very happy to be with successful people because imagine you don't want to be a frog in a well, right? When you are around successful people and success is defined by you, you will know that these 5 people are doing well. Okay, I need to be in their company to understand how they are achieving. And that's the first very simple way to achieve success. Here is the list of successful people and unsuccessful people. I will stick to the successful people, read every day, complement each other, embrace change, forgive others, talk about ideas, continuously learn, accept responsibility for their failures, and they are not worried about if they have failed. They are worried about, okay, I have failed, now how to move ahead because I've learned something. Have a sense of gratitude, set goals, and develop life plans. I will not spend time on unsuccessful people. I will just read the last one, which is the most important one, which is never set goals. If you don't have a goal during COVID, how will you become better the next month? Goal setting is the most important exercise. You want to take up some online courses, you want to do some research in your own institute, you want to build something which is a case study because you have time. Everything is in your hands, and this is the time to be able to do that. So learning, none can destroy iron, but its own rust can. Introducing Scaling New Heights Strategy, version 2020. I have purposefully put this version 2020 because I don't know, after 3 months, if you meet me, maybe I'll be more learned and this presentation will not hold true for people because constant learning is the only honor that you can develop to move ahead. Guys, I am introducing this strategy S2F2 for you for the first time. If you are able to understand the S2F2 strategy and you're able to implement whatever for MBA students who are starting to learn, it will apply to you also. For people who are going to be out in the corporate world, it will apply to you also and to everybody out there. But you will have to do the work of understanding how this strategy can be put into your life. The first is the C strategy, which is about surviving. If you're able to survive, then the next strategy is the space strategy. For a robot to go up needs that thrust. That means you're going against the current. That gives you the thrive that you need in your career. And the last, not the least at all, is having the foothold and focus. If you're able to achieve C strategy, you're able to achieve space strategy, which I'll be explaining it to you what these things are. But if you don't have S2, which is the foothold and focus to constantly innovate yourself, you will not be able to continue with the strategies probably in which you have been successful. Let's decode the big question, what is C strategy? I don't want to move from this slide because it's such a nice view. I would have loved to be in a holiday here, and I'm sure you all want to. So
Definitely.
we'll spend a little time here. The C strategy is surviving strategy. S stands for survive. For people who are getting into the corporate world, please understand you may be having the best knowledge and you may be having the best of the enthusiasm, but that needs to be implemented in an organization in a strategic little doses of your enthusiasm must go. The surviving strategy is very important because you are going to be a new person in an organization. There will be a culture. There are very good organizations and there are very bad organizations also. But having said that, you are not at the choosing end. For example, if not a very great organization comes with the best offer to you, what would you do? Would you leave? You would not. You would say, okay, I am going to understand and I'm going to focus on my goal and the organizational goal and I'll perform. So you are not at the choosing end all the time. But how do you deal with the situations? How do you come out as winner is always in your hand through the strategy, which is survive, be a part of the current and understand. That will help you exist. And the next part is achieve. People who fall into C strategy in corporates are also known as the backbones of the organization because they are the people who understand the organization, the culture, the goals, and constantly are able to, by meeting the expectation, deliver in an organization. Now, I'm not sure there are 400 people on this webinar right now. Uh, can I say 50% would want to be in this category? Great. What about the rest 50%? Who would say no? We want to change the world. We want to achieve something more. We want to create ripples and create difference because for corporates also, if they are not able to ideate something different, how will they go ahead? If Amazon was not able to ideate everything new, the customer experience that they have created in the digital world is something unmatchable. And that's why during COVID, if there is one company that worked flawlessly, the way they have championed their operational skills is Amazon. So for the people who want to go ahead, but this is the base. This is the base. In C strategy, I'll stick to this slide right now. The key takeaway for you that I mentioned is perform or perish. You have to perform basis the goals given to you by the organization. And if you're able to stick to the organization goals and perform by surviving and existing, you go ahead. You move ahead, you exist. You're a part of the C. Or, of course, if you're not able to, there is no organization that is going to be keeping people who are not performing. So there is optimum performance which is needed. When we move ahead to the space strategy, this is for the people who want to thrive. Now let me decode this for you. Survive smart. You understand what's happening in the environment. Like for example, in the COVID world, we have done our research to understand how the products will go out now. People have somehow understood that for existence, there are only certain essentials that customers need. Just imagine the FMCG company or the fashion company. They will have to think of survival strategies and very smart strategies for probably come back to you and say, you know what, you are not going out for events. You don't have many family functions, but still you need to upgrade your wardrobe. Just a very simple example for us to understand as a part of corporate world also. Survive, understand what's happening, and then apply smartness there. The second is plan predictive. In the world of analytics, you succeed if you are able to put your formulas right for predicting the future. Analytics is all about understanding the past, the data, putting the right formulas and algos to understand how this data will behave in the time to come and having the predictive mindset to be able to put some kind of informed decisions on the table for your CEOs or for your CXOs or for your sales team. So a thriving strategy would be plan and be predictive. Third is act, achieve, and upskill. If you are planning and you are predictive, constantly you will have to hone your skill set. The hunar part. Act, achieve. The moment you have the carrot of achievement, you're going to feel good in life. Then that is already achieved. You will have to think for thriving strategy and being thriving person as a leader. Now, how do I upskill? Because whatever I will learn new will go back to my organization and will go back to my team, and I'll be able to deliver better. Create, collaborate, perform. The more you are moving up the ladder in the corporate world, it's no more about you executing alone. It's about collaboration. How are you able to influence others? How you're able to bring people together? Your performance as a leader, as a manager, once you become supervisor, will be defined on the basis of alone, I'm a great performer, but when teams come to me, I'm able to take the performance of 10 people up with me. And that becomes, because you're thriving, an important parameter in your career. And the last is E, excel, exceed, become a leader. When you're able to put everything together, you become a leader. Having said that, key takeaway here is pivot or perish. Now, pivot is a very important word here because you will have to create something very unique for yourself. And that's why we see that there are so many people who become CEOs. There are so many people who are in leadership positions. There are so many people who are able to thrive ahead. There are only so many people who are able to create that niche individually because they are trying to build that pivot around themselves. They are the pivot, right? In thriving strategy, and once you're able to prove yourself that you're a part of that group where you have the leadership quality, you're able to innovate things, you're able to put on the table, which is called as the new age innovation with your ideas and your execution capabilities, then you have set the standards for yourself very high. And that space is very challenging and that space is very, very gratifying for people who are in the corporate world. And of course, if performance and this is not optimally balanced, what will happen? You will perish. And just imagine, this brings me to the point of in 1958, if I remember, the mean or the average age of any organization or a business or industry was around 62 years. That has come down in the digital world to only 22 years. So who are we? We are just individuals. Imagine there are so many businesses that will in the next 5 years also perish if they are not able to pivot. Pivot is nothing but innovating something new and bringing innovation around you. So may your dreams be larger than mountains and may you have the courage to scale their summits. This is again coming here because I want to focus on the point courage. Let's decode courage for you. Courage is all about going wild for a while. That's important. You can't be wild 24 hours, but the 2 hours in your day, you must innovate. You must research. You must figure out how can I become better. In today's day, what did I contribute in my life to become a little better of what I am or what I was yesterday? So go wild for a while. The trail is the thing, guys, not the end of the trail. There is no end. I don't know my end, you don't know your end. You don't know when something will end. All we know is today, what was my productivity and how am I treating my trail? There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. Courage is an outcome of confidence that is built by honing your skill set with a growth mindset. The mantra of success in digital age is the power of upgrade. I sometimes find it a little funny. You want to upgrade your phones the moment a new phone is there, and imagine the companies how they are marketing also from OnePlus 8T to OnePlus 80 Pro. Now I'm waiting for the Pro to come because I know the company must have fixed something little more, so I want to go for the Pro. You want to constantly upgrade your cars. You want to constantly upgrade your, though now people are not really wanting to invest in real estate. The millennial population want different homes, travel and XYZ. But then I remember people getting, okay, we are done with this house. Now we need to upgrade our house. It has now come down to upgrading your wardrobe thanks to the retail world. But when upgrade is such a big part of our life and has always been, right? Why don't we upgrade ourselves? How many of us think that, okay, what I was yesterday, I need to upgrade. So upgrading yourself, I think, is the most important point from all perspective to be able to pivot ahead in your careers. How to scale the Everest heights of your career? Let's understand. Digital and Corona disruption, the new age. That has become my favorite word because Corona has given the disruption and it has whatever was supposed to get postponed has been preponed because of Corona. Everybody has to think digital. And the making of a warrior version 2020. Guys, 1980, that's all. the time when I was also born, right? People, they knew what they wanted to be. There were just handful of careers out there. Engineer, doctor, you'll be an air hostess and everything is in front of you. 2020 is very exciting. We exactly don't know what we want to be because there are so many careers that have come up. I mean, just imagine a chief data officer. I did not think of this designation 5 years back. The designation that I carry today, I never thought that when I was doing my MBA, I am going to be having this title. There are so many careers, there are so many opportunities that have come. Now it's up to you how you want to make yourself available for those opportunities and go out and say, look, what you want, I have. So 2020 for me, this time is extremely exciting. This is one of the research, a little dated because I didn't get latest figures. It said 20% of college graduates work in a job related to their major. With such a low number, it's safe to assume most people don't know what their ideal career looks like. And that's a dilemma around the world. If through this presentation, I'm able to a little bit help you out, I'll feel really good about it. But yes, every cloud has a silver lining. What's the silver lining? As I mentioned, data scientists. I never thought of this designation before, and they are highly paid because they are needed. You need somebody like a scientist to come on your data and say, look, this is structured data, this is non-structured data, this is how you need to deal with your data. Then under data scientists, you'll have data miners who will assist them, who will begin their career a little early at the earlier stage and say, okay, I am going to be mining your data because some scientist has put your data in the right format and architecture. Look at this, talent acquisition specialist. It's no more about recruitments and HR. If you're from HR, now it's about talent acquisition specialist, somebody who will go onto your LinkedIn profile and check what kind of conversations you're able to make. And LinkedIn is a very powerful place. And that's what I can now tell you, that gone are the days when it used to be your profile that you're putting on Naukri for jobs. It's also about understanding the keywords. If your CV is getting thrown to the right person who's looking for, or the HRs, rolling it back to, let me see what conversations this person is doing on the LinkedIn. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, oh my God, how will you exist in the digital world? So as I said, in 2013 was a wake-up call for us, because now digital was becoming a part of our profession and not just happy-go-lucky, catching up with your school friends and looking at them, how they look now on Orkuts and Facebooks of the world. SEO manager, most important profile, I would say. Somebody who is looking at the digital health of your digital assets. This is a very important profile. Digital marketing manager, social media manager, substitute teacher, digital teachers, UX designer, UX UI. Most important thing, you might be having the fanciest agency to do your work, but if the designer or somebody on your team is not equipped with this knowledge, he or she will just deliver what you had thought, but maybe it will not have the longevity that you wanted, right? So when we look at Amazons of the world, we know that, somehow Mintras and Amazons have been able to crack that. I don't have to figure, I don't have to, it's very preempting, it's prompting you what you want. And that's called as customer experience. Social media manager or marketing analyst. Now, I never thought of that I would probably need an analyst in the team, right? An analyst is a person who is now, because gone are the days when it used to be just one hoarding lagao, put your TVC, and that's it. And a little bit of SMS marketing, a little bit of email marketing here and there. Now the world of marketing has become so big. And there is a very thin line between marketing and sales. Today, if as a leader, I don't talk about the conversions and I don't think up to the mile of what my digital campaign is going to give me from the conversion point of view that will affect the sales, I will not be able to plan it, because the entire journey has to be planned wearing the hat of a marketing and a salesperson. So there is a very thin line. So if you believe that your thoughts originate inside your brain, do you also believe that television shows are made inside your television set? Laugh, please laugh. Let's understand the game of 21st century. Old was generalization, new is customization. Can you mine your data, massage your data, understand your customers, and then put the customization angle to what they want? They will stick to you. Old was business oriented, new is customer oriented. In Aditya Birla also we mentioned about that the new boss is customer. We have an entire campaign that ran throughout all the retail businesses saying there is a concept of customer, because customer becomes your boss now. Customer continuing to give you what you want, as business continue to have trust in you, in your products, will give you the longevity in the business that you want, or you perish. Look at the unicorns. This is also a little dated, but I could probably just figure this out for you. Look at the names in Mobi, Flipkart, Snapdeal. Some of them have, you know how the dynamic the world is. So the unicorns are made today. Between 11 to 2018, you have so many unicorns. And now this list has to change the moment COVID is, we have some research and the COVID will throw some very good new names. And one of the name is Zoom, right? Old was static, new is adaptive. Old used to be, in business, this is my business model. I have cracked it. This is the need in the market and I have a solution for it. The new is, maybe you know what is the need in the market. You cracked it. But now you, as business also, you have to be very agile and adaptive to understand how the need has changed. Or is there somebody like a disruptor that I call, and I have a lot of friends there in Paytm, they came and painted on auto rickshaws and said, you know what, you need this? Who thought that they are going to be cashless? Digital payment is such a big market today. So Paytm came and planted the whole India and said, you know what? You need Paytm. How are you surviving without it? So if you are not adaptive and agile to understand that there will be a disruptor who will come in the market and question your presence, how will you survive? So being adaptive is the buzzword. So what is the magic here? The magic for you is the power of digital trinity. Adapt, learn, and deliver. Repeat. I think in my next time I'm going to put this word repeat, because it's a constant exercise. You adapt, you learn, you deliver. You innovate, adapt, learn, deliver, and repeat. So if you're not first, of course you're not must. You have to find your fanning. And for students, this is an important slide. Discover your strengths, your ideal career path. You know, if you like to make videos, that's a very big ask in the corporates today. Because from a video point of view, if you're very good in something which is creative, we have as corporates always been dependent on agencies. So if you are a marketing person, for example, because I come strongly from that domain, who says that, you know what, I had spent 1 year in sales understanding the customer, understanding the ground realities of how people, you know, accept a product, buy a product, or say, you know what, this is not good in your product, XYZ. And now these feedbacks are very digital for us through great data crunching. Then you go and say, okay, I have ticked my sales. I understand the marketing part of it, which is I'm a creative. I can make creatives for you. I can understand product communication and knowledge that needs to go out. And then I'm able to put a little bit of analysis to it also. And then, you know what, why do we have to spend so much of money? Any organization is going to love you if you say, you know what, I also know how to edit small videos. For big campaigns, we will go out, but small things, you know, a little bit of video marketing, I'm equipped. That becomes your skill set. So people are like jelly beans. Everyone has their own flavor. Where will your flavor lead you is something that you will have to define yourself. So guys, welcome to the real world. Your success formula, practically there is no formula, but I'll try to give something to you. 1% luck, 1% talent, believe me, and 98% never give up is your formula. I strongly believe in the power of yet. There will be moments in your life when you won't get it. You will say, I can't do this. You will feel this doesn't work. This is the end of the road. All you have to do is, this has happened to me 100 times. You're not different. You're not somebody who's not achieving or failing. This moment comes every now and then. But then also comes the power of yet. And I want to give this knowledge to you today. Take a deep breath. Go for a short stroll. Add yet to all your sentences. As in, I don't get it yet. I'm going to figure out ways. I can't do this yet. I will learn. Who's going to stop me? This doesn't work yet. Let me figure out what will work. Let me do some more research. So it may not be easy, but it doesn't mean you are never going to meet the challenge. In the new world, it is not the big fish which eats the small fish. It's the fastest fish which eats the slow fish. Key skills for the future of work, also known as the survival skill tool book or tool kit. Learning to learn and unlearn. That's going to be a very big part, because this is the most difficult part. Now imagine the people who were specialists of Excel sheets, and I keep giving this example because it took me a lot of time to explain them that, you know what, I am very bad in Excel because I don't want to be good at Excel at all, right? So you will sit with somebody who's a champion in Excel. You say, give me this formula, give me this, give me this. Person is tuck 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 doing it. Suddenly you tell them that, you know what, this all is coming on a platform and we are going to onboard that software, so it will be much faster, I don't have to wait for you. This person is going to feel like I have become obsolete. Now this person who I'm talking about needs to understand that how your base solid, survival strategy of understanding that concept can now become a thriving strategy. Because why can't you become a data miner for me? Why can't you take up some courses and become a data scientist for me? Because who are these data scientists? They are not aliens that God is sending to us from Mars. They're not dropping just like that. They are the people who had the thriving strategy and they said, okay, I'm going to don this fancy designation. I'm going to do some courses and come back and sit in an agency and be called as a data scientist and smartly go to a corporate house and say, I am a data scientist. Tell me what you want to do. Why can't the person who was sitting in the team, on the team for the last 15 years as a champion of Excel, can't upgrade? So here the hunar part plays a very important role, that you have to accept the fact that, you know what, I'm going to get obsolete if I don't upgrade myself. Empathy, collaboration, problem solving skill. Problem solving skill is very important. Life is not linear. I'm repeating this. You are not going to get in your career. I mean, just imagine tomorrow your boss changes and your realities will change. I'm telling you the truth. How will you manage? How will you continue to be who you are, a performer, to be who you are, a leader, to be who you are or you want to see yourself as? So critical thinking, problem solving from individual point of view is also very important. From an organization point of view, that is something that we deal with every day, because we'll understand that we don't have a structured data. And just an example, in one business, I have 12 businesses, 11 businesses through with digital transformation. I have the data, digits talking to digits, but one business is lagging behind because of the business, the type of business it is. Now, I will not be able to put the whole structure through if this business is lacking. Now, this is a problem that I will have to solve sitting with all the business heads. Versus I thinking that the whole thing has failed, it is not going to work. So what? 11 companies have been digitally transformed. I am not going to get the brownie points because one business is not doing it. No, we will have to see how we can do some kind of fixing here that can help till the whole thing come out seamless. So problem solving in corporations, in corporates, in large organizations becomes the most important skill set. And digital fluency, I don't want to harp or say anything on it. If you go on my LinkedIn every day, I have been talking about it. Whoever you are, there are a lot of salespeople who have unfortunately vanished from the industry because they said sales can only happen when somebody sees my face. Sales is so dependent on my face. It has a face value. It had a face value. Now, same customer wants a customer experience through your UX UI on a digital platform. Be it any company, be it institutional business where institutions put money for wealth managers to manage or for wealth companies and XYZ. The world is digital. You got to give a good face to customers that is digital led. Gone are the days when, because I'm your RM, you're going to give business to me. People have went through a lot of digital trauma, mind trauma to come out, mental trauma, sorry, to come out as digital mindset oriented leaders. And the people who have been able to, bring themselves and their mindset to the digital world and digital orientation have been able to, again, get into the thriving strategy, and they are in space of progress. So guys, I love this quote. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. So all of you all who are entering your MBA programs, you have 2 years to sharpen your axe. You would see, and it's a great time to be here because you don't have anything, no performance pressure as of now. You will know how the world is changing, how COVID has given no new opportunities in the businesses, and sharpen your axe. People who are now about to, right? There's a lot of work from home happening right now. A little bit of lull period. Go pick up some new courses and sharpen your CVs and try to be on the video platforms, because trust me, if I'm going to get a CV, just imagine in today's world, which is a long two-pager that I have to read, versus if I get your snippet on a video, wherein you're very confidently talking. I have seen you, how you talk, what your personality is, how you deliver, and especially if you want to be in marketing sales domain. And then what is the content that you're talking? How evolved you are? How confident you are about your skill set, the honor piece. I think it will be very easy for anybody to take a call on you to understand that, okay, I need this person on my team. Or, okay, if I'm looking for freshers, this is a great start, right? Question is, are you ready? Preparing the Generation Z soldiers of AEG. Thank you so much, guys. I hope I finished on time.
Yes, you surely did, ma'am. And I think you started saying that this is going to be a visual treat for our students, but this was absolutely a learning treat for them, I must say. Every bit of it was very engaging.
Thank you so much. I'm happy.
We have a couple of questions coming from the students. Can we start with the Q&A round, please?
Yeah, please. Sure.
The first question is that, ma'am, please suggest how can one become strong in digital marketing from the perspective of a student? What is the scope of it in future?
I think I have said enough about the scope, but digital is the future, and in digital marketing, the marketing now, it is going to start with your digital knowledge, because as I said, gone are the days when it used to be your hoardings and TVCs. Everything now is amplified through digital, so there is a lot of in your online presence of your brand. There's 70% digital and 30% of anything else. So if you want to get into marketing, you don't have an option. You need a digital marketing course. You need to understand how Google functions. You need to understand some of the top places where the digital advertising happens. So picking up digital courses is extremely important. Please don't think that you're just doing an MBA in marketing. What I did 20 years back is going to, imagine 2013, I had to go for Google keyword. Why did I do that? Because I knew that some fancy agency will come and will, you have to be smart, right? To even deal with the agencies on the client side, you need to know what they're talking. So pick up some good courses. I'm sure your Ravi ji spoke to me about there is a course from NNIT that your college is giving. Please pick that up. Read a lot of case studies. It will help you, because when we onboarded ourselves in business onto digital platforms, we failed miserably. We didn't know how customers were behaving to what we were putting out. We came from the offline world, and we struggled for 2-3 years to understand, oh, it's all about keyword, and it's all about the keyword that should not relate to the product. It should relate to what customer is looking for. So I think anybody who wants to get into sales and marketing, SEO course is very important for you. Understand how customers are behaving online. So consumer behavior, customer intelligence is very important.
Right. Surely, as you said, that there's nobody like client. These are all customers and our consumers, and they have to be seen in that way. The next question is that, ma'am, how can we upscale ourselves in the current times to constantly reach new heights and raise our standards? I think you've spoken enough about this, but at least any 2 tips which we can give to our students so that they can upscale themselves.
I'll give you the whole journey. If you want to, I'll give you a simple example, which was not a part of my presentation. The digital intervention in corporations happened with a few years back, when your chief technology officers, right? Himanshu is also there. They started talking about, we need cloud, we need cloud. And we used to think cloud, cloud, cloud. Okay. Then we learned what is cloud, right? We are constantly learning. And if you and the competition in the world is only about who's learning fast. right? The competition in the world is only about that, because our MBAs did not teach us anything related to this world, right? So today, the discussion of customer that used to be a baby of a CMO, like if I enter an organization, the customer is given to me. Poonam, as a CMO, manage customers. There is a paradigm shift now. In the digital world, your CEO is getting worried about customer more than the CMO. Your CTO is getting worried about the customer for defining the digital journeys and ensuring that the data is in a secure cloud. These are the discussions that are happening. So there is a very thin line between who was doing what. We have dismantled departmentalization, most of the organizations, and that is the challenge with bigger organizations, because of course, people are very sensitive about this is my department and hence this is my data. So data security, on off-premise data, how do you secure your data? What kind of cloud you should use? Coming back to your specific to your question, if your chief sales officer, for example, just an instance, would not understand cloud technology, how will he sit with the CEO and say, you know what, you should do this investment? Because ultimately your CXOs have to come together and decide something, which, and technology is all about investment, fresh investment, right? So irrespective of what department champion you were, be it marketing or HR, now HR, gone are the days. Sorry, if somebody says you guys make rangoli, I'm going to have big offense on it, because the talent which is needed. 3 years back, I was looking for onboarding a data scientist in my team. I couldn't find. I couldn't find people. And if I interviewed also, they didn't have any kind of experience that I needed. So dependency was again on people who are working in fancy agencies, and okay, I'm going to take some help from you. But if I need somebody to be in the thick and thin of my business, then where is the talent? So for marketing, please become boundaryless. This is the time. Pick up courses, understand analytics. I am not a Python champion and I don't want to be. As I said, Excel sheet, I will run away, right? You just give me the numbers. I'm going to ask you a question. You just give me the number. I want to understand the number. How you calculate is your problem. I don't want to learn Python language. No, I don't want to. I'm not a techie, but I have the mindset and the intelligence to ask you the right question. Correct. So if you want to be in marketing, understand sales, understand marketing, understand customer funnel completely. Pick up courses that are into analytics, giving you some kind of gateway. You get a little head start to understand how digital customer journey is built. Little bit of UX, UI, there is no harm. Go and please learn some editing courses. That's a very big skill needed, because the whole marketing has shifted to small bite-sized videos, right? So no job is small, is what I would say.
And I think as management students, they need to understand that they have to be very open to change.
Oh,
that's the most important thing, right? So we have our next question. How will the new normal impact the future prospects of management students? Should we be prepared for new kind of job roles? And what are these job roles?
I think I've mentioned the new jobs that have come in the market.
Right.
See, please understand, there is a lot of talk on new normal. The new normal is you accepting the new normal. No organizations are going to just put some 10 new departments and say new normal is these 10 departments. The world doesn't function like that. These are very fancy and heavy words, but if you go back and see that what change will happen, the change only that we are talking about is whether we continue work from home till such time the vaccine is not there in the market, or we go to offices for our own safety. Having said that, what happened in 2015 is digital disruption, where, as I said, we are talking about how to have secure data, how to have the right cloud, how to have the technology, how to initiate digital transformation for the businesses that were never digital and supposed to be only on face value. How do we differentiate them? How do we onboard the organizations to the next level? So the new kind of jobs, it's not going to happen that suddenly Times of India is going to publish, these are the new post-COVID jobs, or this is the new normal. The new normal is you getting ready for it, that possibly a job, and that's important. That was for which we had the budgets of 5 people doing it, versus I looking for one individual who is able to deliver most of it to me. I see that.
Right.
You picking up your skill set, putting everything that you can do, and going out in the world ready. Oh yeah, I am good at writing. I am good at video marketing. I am good at social analytics. I am good with social listening skills. You know, I know how softwares are, those softwares function. I can deliver this to your team. Great. And hence, I have also written one of the articles that speak about being jack of all.
Mm.
You can actually go and read that article. That's based on a very practical insight.
Very well said, ma'am. I think they have to pick a lot of skills and they have to enhance their productivity. The next question is that, ma'am, as you have been part of marketing since more than 2 decades, please guide us that how should we start our career, and is it good to start it with sales if such profiles are available to us?
If you're getting a profile, jump and take it, whatever the profile is. And sales and marketing, as I said, there is a very thin demarcation now. If I have somebody on my team who doesn't understand sales funnel, in fact, we have been training people. I have sat myself with salespeople to understand what used to be the offline way. When was the crack point, or when was the deal breaker point? That should not happen in the digital journey, right? So, in fact, I also started my career as a business development person. I started my career with Vodafone Orange, and it was a vast team and a part of marketing team where we used to design things on value-added services for clients. And the moment we have designed something basis the budgets given to us, right? Then we used to go to the client and say, you know what, you're a big corporation and you take 300 connections from me, and this is going to be the VAS that I will specially provide. So in the digital world, there is hardly any demarcation between sales and marketing, and people who understand sales and numbers and can do P&L work, right? Along with being creative, are the people who are going ahead. From a new, straight coming out of the college, and especially in BFSI, if you were to enter BFSI, mostly and generally 90% people will offer you sales role first. The same goes for FMCG also, because companies would want you to understand the ground reality. But if it's a college placement, I will not be able to. Probably my HR people will be able to give more insight. You should know your growth path. If you're getting into an organization and they say you have to start with sales, okay, once I perform here, these are my matrix of success. How do I go to the next level, which is where I want to be? That clear conversation will help you. But there's no harm in getting into, and the sales is no more you knocking the door. The sales is understanding customer journeys. The sales is understanding what product, what should be the product hook, and preparing offers, right? So digital sales is very interesting, in fact.
Sure. Very well answered, ma'am. And I'm sure they all were looking forward to this piece of information because they all have this dilemma, sales or marketing. Related to this, we have another question that, ma'am, if you were hiring somebody for your department for sales or marketing, what would you look for in a profile, or what would you look for in a candidate?
That's a difficult question. I'll try to answer. What I will be looking for will be divided into two parts. Am I looking for an experienced person, or I'm looking for a fresher? If I'm looking for an experienced person, then the definition will be totally different. To answer your question, which will obviously be for freshers, I will only look for growth mindset. I will look for a person who will come and say, "I please teach me whatever, and I'm going to deliver. And this is my CV. I've done these 10 programs." And if I were to ask him, "How will you define keywords for me?" And especially, okay, because you have asked me this question, my experience with freshers have been they come for interviews. I've interviewed many in my lifetime. In fact, I look for new talent. Personally, I look for young talent, new talent who will come and because they are very, you all, I mean, I can see there are 388 people. You will be far more willing to learn, willing to deliver, willing to just be a part of an existing team, right? So there are many pluses to hiring freshers and new talent. I, in this day and age, will look for, if you're looking for a stream, like for example, I'll give you a different example now. If I'm hiring for a recruitment manager, which I will not do in my life, just an example, I would look for what is this person's presence on LinkedIn? Because I would want to save my cost of hiring. So does the person have strategies to bring me talent that I'm looking for with innovative ways? right? And if I'm able to put cost cutting there, I'll be a winner as a department head. Be it marketing, I will look for how you have been constantly, innovating yourself. Do you have a growth mindset? Are you open for learning? A lot of people who come out from very fancy colleges, they are not open for learning. Sorry to say this. When they sit for interviews, I'm coming from here, I know everything. And you are going to be in a tussle with my team every day because you're coming from a fancy. So sometimes you're very scared to take fancy to take talent from fancy colleges because we are looking for an open-minded person who's willing to come and say, this is what I know, and please give me projects and I want to deliver. Great, come on board.
How eager they are to learn. I'm sure all of you are listening to this, and this is something we all need to incorporate. The next question is, ma'am, if I aspire to be an entrepreneur, please suggest the right kind of skill set which is required. What would be the role of digital marketing in that case?
That's a great question. If you want to have your own startup or wanting to be an entrepreneur, you will have to be clear-cut jack of all. You will not be able to, and you would not want to hire fancy marketing people. You must know marketing yourself and publishing your own product. You must know a little bit of everything, except to you being able to attract an investor, because that probably either you will put your own seed capital or you will look for an investor with your idea. After that, you should be ready to be a jack of all of everything. Recruitment will be in your hand, marketing will be in your hand. Probably you will have an executor to help you, but strategy will be your own because you are trying to build a product. There's a very nice image of Mr. Jeff Bezos long back. I mean, it's a very viral image, right? He's just in the corner of his house, right, with one PC and trying to build Amazon. So he built alone. So for entrepreneurs, I think it's great because you don't have to immediately get into people management. You just have to get freshers or like-minded people who want to work with you and have the strategic, layout of your plan or business in your own hands and grow slow, steady, small. Important tip for people who want to start their startup is research. A lot of people think this product is not there in the market, I'm going to create it. But what is the success story of startups? So please, if you want to get into anything which is your own idea, because there are a lot of ideas, please, before starting it, put the entire journey till the last mile of what will give you revenue. It should be in front of you. And you should have the journey of best scenario, this will be my revenue, and worst scenario, this is my revenue and this will be my cost. And then probably take a call to get into. So be jack of all.
Surely planning is the key, I guess.
Yes.
Ma'am, I think our students are very motivated and they've been sending us a lot of questions, but I'll put across the last one because of the paucity of time. The last one is that you are a digital marketing expert. What career advice would you like to give to our BCA students of Asian School of Business aspiring for a tech career?
Oh, if you're aspiring for a tech career, the world is open. Get into analytics. You know how much data scientists are paid? I pay them, I know how much we pay them because so if you have the tech mindset, oh, the world is open for you. The world is going to wait for you with open arms. Finish your BCA and get into data mining, data analytics, understanding data, customer journey, UX, UI. These are the, in fact, we have been propagating that people who are non-techies to learn these skills today. So if you're an engineer, wow, this is the time to get into tech. If you're not an engineer, still wow, now learn, right?
Right. So there's a boom for them, surely.
Absolutely.
Ma'am, I thank you so much for being here, for gracing us with your presence. And it was indeed a very, very envisioning session, a very motivating one. And I'm sure that visuals that you showed were not just a visual treat, but a learning treat as well. And on behalf of the entire AG family, the directors, the faculty members, and the entire AG fraternity, I thank you for having you here, for giving us your time and giving so much of knowledge and experience to our students. And we look forward to a very continued association with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone who was watching. I hope this is going to build the right mindset for you to propel ahead. and believe in the power of possibilities. I have always believed in the power of possibilities. If it's a difficult time, it's not going to last here. It's going to, we will move ahead. If we are leaders, we have to move ahead. So believe in the power of possibilities. Thank you so much. I had a good time. I could not see anyone. I hate that, but I tried my best. Thank you, Garima. Thank you, Ravi, and everyone out there. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.